name is Jann Newton from Newton Custom Interiors, and today I'm going to show you how to make a pillow. A pillow is a great, quick and easy sewing project, and pillows are great to add different colors and fabrics to your room. And the great thing about making your own pillow is that you can choose whatever fabrics you want for your project. What you're going to need today are the fabric for your pillow, and also a pillow form that you can buy in any craft or hobby store. The first thing that we're going to do is cut out the front and back sides for our pillow. And I'm going to use a framing square because I like the nice 90-degree angle corner that it gives me for my pillows. If you don't have a framing square, you can also use a piece of cardboard that has a 90-degree angle on it, along with a yardstick to get your correct measurements. I'm going to mark out my fabric using a fabric marker at the same dimension as my pillow form is. So my pillow form is 18 by 18 inches, so I'm marking out my fabric at 18 by 18 inches also. I don't want to add in seam allowances because when you add in seam allowances, it can make the cover of your pillow a little bit too loose, and I like a snug cover on my pillows. So we're just going to cut out this front piece very quickly. And once I have it cut out, I like to mark the bottom edge of the pillow fabric with a pin, and that will just help me out later knowing which is the bottom, which is the top. I'm going to lay my top piece over on my fabric, trying to match up my pattern. Then I'm simply going to cut out my second piece of fabric and put a pin in the bottom edge of it too. Then I'm going to take both pieces of fabric over to the sewing machine. Now we're ready to sew our front and back sides of our fabric together. I've done a couple of steps ahead of time. I have basted with my sewing machine, a long basting stitch 3/8 of an inch away from my raw edge on the bottom edge of my pillow. You can see my pin that marks the bottom of the pillow. This basting stitch later on is going to help us when we need to close our pillow. The other thing that I've done ahead of time is that I've pinned my two pieces of fabric right sides together, wrong sides out. I've pinned it all the way around all four sides of the pillow, leaving an opening in the bottom edge so that we can get our pillow insert in later on. So I'm going to start and stop my stitching on that bottom edge about 2 inches away from the corner on each end. I'm going to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance so our 3/8 inch basting stitch won't show once we have that 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm going to back stitch really carefully on the starting and stopping points on this bottom edge because that is where we're going to insert the pillow, and there's going to be a lot of tugging and pulling on that point, so we want to make sure the stitches stay. So I'm just going to stitch up to my first corner, stopping about a 1/2 inch away from the second side. Lift up my presser foot, pivot my fabric, and sew up the second side of the pillow. Making sure to stop when I want to take my pins out. I'm just going to continue sewing around all three sides until I get back to my ending pin at the bottom edge of my fabric. I'm back at my final corner and I've pivoted my fabric. Now I'm just going to sew up until to the last pin and do my back stitch. Now we're ready to flip our corners and turn our fabric right side out. I've clipped 3 of the corners of our pillow cover, and now I'm getting ready to clip the 4th corner. I just simply cut at an angle, making sure that I don't cut into my stitching line. And what this does is when you turn your pillow right side out, you don't have as much bulk in the corners when you get rid of that extra little piece. Now that we have our corners clipped, now we're ready to turn our pillow cover right side out. So we simply just start at one corner and push it out, going to the next corner and the next, until you get all 4 corners kind of pushed out towards the right side, and then just flip the whole pillow cover right side out. To finish off those corners a little bit better, now that I've got my cover right side out, I'm going to use a tool called that purple thing, and I'm going to push the corners out a little bit more so they have a nice, clean, crisp look to them. Doing all 4 corners. Okay. We've got our pillow cover right side out, our corners are pushed out. Now we're going to insert our pillow form. And to do that, I just lay it on top of our pillow cover, and using my one hand, I press down in the middle of the pillow and then grab both edges of the pillow form. I'm going to hold on to that pretty tightly until I get the pillow form clear in my cover. Just go until you get your pillow form clear to that top edge of the pillow, trying to get the pillow form corners into the corners of the cover. Sometimes the pillow corners may be just a little floppy. They may need some extra batting, but that's an easy fix. I just get some extra pieces of batting and put those in each of the corners. Do the bottom corners too. And now that we have the pillow form inserted, now we're going to pin this open edge closed. And this is where having the basting stitch that we did earlier helps you know where to turn that fabric. See, I'm just turning right above my basting stitch, right about where a 1/2 inch would be. I like to start in the center of the pillow and work out towards each end, making sure that I keep my fabric even all the way across there, and just simply pin it. Like I said, going from one end to one end and then doing the other side. There are a couple of different ways that you can finish this seam off once you have it pinned. One way is that you could machine stitch all the way across this end, right along where your pins are. And it's a little bit difficult to do, but that is one option. That is how most store-bought pillow forms or pillows are made, and I think it just adds a little extra touch if instead of machine stitching you hand sew this edge closed. I have done another video. It's called How to Hand Sew a Pillow Closed. And in that video I show how to use the ladder stitch to neatly close this edge. You can find this video on my blog, newtoncustominteriors.com, and the name of the post is called How to Hand Sew a Pillow Closed. And you can also find the video on YouTube too. So I hope this video has been helpful, and I hope you enjoy your new pillow.